Goeiemorgen, good morning. Now, do you know how your marriage contract could shape your entire financial future? From inheritance and pensions to tax and even what happens if a relationship ends. The legal framework around marriage in South Africa carries real consequences, but there are still common misconceptions, like the idea of a common law marriage, that could have many people exposed. In this episode of Ensure Your Future, we unpack the different types of marriages, what makes them legally valid, and why understanding your marital regime is critical to protecting your finances.
Do you know how much your marriage contract impacts every part of your financial life? Marriage in South Africa comes in various forms, and it's important to understand, firstly, when you are considered married, and also how your marriage regime affects your finances.
We are joined by attorney mediator Lerato Seroke. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Lerato, let's start off by dispelling the notion of common law marriage and why recognizing a marriage is important from a financial perspective. So we're talking about inheritance, pension, divorce, and tax here.
One of the common myths in South African law is that when you live together and you have been in a relationship for a very long period of time, that you are considered married. But in our law, there is no such thing as a common law marriage. And what that does essentially is exposes couples to so-called butt and sit or cohabitation relationships to potential risks if they are not informed. So if you are not married, you will, for example, not enjoy the benefits or protections such as inheritance, your ex-spouse or deceased spouse's pension interests. You will not, for example, be able to claim spousal maintenance upon the dissolution of that relationship, whereas when you are married, you have certain legal protections. People in long-term committed relationships who classify themselves as being life partners need to be aware of steps that they need to take to protect themselves while they are still in that relationship at the inception, not when things are about to break down.
When are you considered married in South Africa? I followed the traditional route. We had a marriage officer. We signed the documents. It was a registered marriage. But I mean, Mapolo, customary marriage, you followed a different route. At what point are you actually considered married?
So, for example, with me, Maya, in my culture, in the Sotho culture, they sent the letter, and after having sent the letter, they come. Obviously, my parents have to say, okay, yes, you can come through. We want to hear your story, right? They get there and they agree to say, all right, yes, we will go through with this. And they leave the first half of the lobola. Then a second date is agreed upon to say, we are going to come back on this day to finish off the lobola. But what I did, me being very naughty, and my husband, well, my boyfriend then, I said, because we know that this is what we want to do, let's go sign an antenuptial contract. So we met the notary even before, after we knew that the letter had been sent, before the parents started having this talk. So at what point then was I married in that scenario?
There are three types of valid marriages in our law. The first being a civil marriage, the second being a civil union, and the third being a customary marriage, which is what you have entered into with your husband. So in terms of a civil marriage, that is where you have one man and one woman who are both over the age of 18, who have both consented to being married, whose marriage was officiated by a registered marriage officer, and where the marriage was registered at Home Affairs. Okay? And in a civil marriage, it is necessary for you or the parties in the civil marriage to have a marriage certificate. That is what will classify it as being valid. The second type of valid marriage in our law is a civil union. Civil union is when there are two partners and they enter into a valid marriage by consent, and the marriage is also officiated by a marriage officer and registered at Home Affairs. The difference between the two is with a civil marriage and a civil union. A civil marriage specifies the place for a marriage to be considered valid. So, for example, you need to be married at Home Affairs, at court, or in a church, whereas a civil union doesn't do so because it doesn't want to limit the environment in which same-sex marriage can be conducted. So the customary marriage differs from the civil marriage and the civil union because it allows more than one spouse in that marriage by consent, obviously. And in a customary marriage, you do not need to register it for it to be valid. So you don't need to go to Home Affairs. So that is often why we see cases where parties want to divorce or where somebody dies in a customary marriages. It leads to complications.
For the full conversation, check out the website on the screen.
Velprobleme soos droë vel en ekseem kan reeds baie ongemaklik wees, maar vir mense wat met psoriase leef, kan dit dikwels 'n daaglikse uitputtende stryd wees, nie net fisies nie, maar emosioneel ook. Ons gesels met die produkspesialis van Creme Classic Skincare, Michelle Lou, oor wat dit presies is, hoe dit mense raak en watter verligting beskikbaar is. Goeiemôre en welkom terug. Ek is so bly jy is hier om vir ons meer te verduidelik. Goed, Michelle, ek wil graag vir jou vra, droë vel en ekseem is een uitdaging, maar wanneer dit by psoriase kom, is woorde soos desperaat en uiters ongemaklik nogal iets waarin 'n mens dink, nê?
Ja, ek dink ons verstaan nie regtig hoe erg dit is nie, maar as ons praat oor psoriase,
Ja.
psoriase is 'n immuunstelselprobleem waar normaalweg maak ons elke 28 dae nuwe vel, maar pasiënte wat psoriase het, maak elke 4 tot 7 dae maak hulle nuwe vel. Sonder dat jou brein dink, maak hy nuwe vel. En dis ongelooflik ongemaklik. Ek dink as jy dit op jou arms het, is dit baie sleg want jy moet klere aantrek en jy moet strek. So ja, dit is 'n desperate poging om daai simptome te kan verlig.
Is daar enigiets anders wat jy sou byvoeg na aanleiding van wat presies dit is, of is dit min of meer in 'n neutedop?
Dit is min of meer in 'n neutedop, wat dit flikker op in seisoene ook en dit raak erger. Ongelukkig is daar nog nie ordentlike medisyne om dit te beheer nie, maar simptoomverligting is op hierdie stadium die beste. En meeste van die tyd kry hulle dit of op die elmboë of op die knieë, baie keer op die kneukels. En soos ek sê, dit is nog ongemaklik as jy hierdie dik vel wat op laag op mekaar sit, moet gebruik in jou hande op 'n dag.
So watter verligting bied julle produkte dan nou vir, jy weet, die simptome wat 'n mens moontlik kan beleef?
So die simptome is maar meestal die pyn, die juk, die irritasie en hulle sê ook dit voel soos 'n koeltjie vuur wat onder jou vel brand. So jy moet daai simptoom kan verlig. En iets waarna ons kyk is die koelteer shampoo, die koelteer room. So ek wil dit spesifiek vir julle wys want dit is 'n koelteer room. So hy's nie dik nie, hy's baie maklik om aan te smeer. En hy het nogal 'n skerp reuk, maar is vir my nogal 'n lekker reuk want dit voel soos gesond word.
Ja.
So hy smeer maklik aan. So dis waar ek sou begin en dan sou ek nog steeds gebad het met die ointment net om daai erge juk en verligting beter te kry.
Nou, ek sien ook 'n geel bottel hier en dit is nou shampoo. Hoe gebruik 'n mens dit?
So die geel bottel shampoo is die koelteer shampoo en onthou nou jy kan nie hierdie koelteer room regtig in jou hare gedeelte insmeer nie. So dan kan jy die koelteer shampoo gebruik.
Ja.
Smeer 'n klein bietjie daarvan aan nadat jou hare nat gemaak het, los dit aan vir 'n paar minute en dan spoel jy dit af. Dit het ook 'n skerp reuk, maar dit is belangrik om te weet dit gaan nie jou klere of selfs jou hare vlek nie. Dis baie belangrik want baie keer van die koelteer produkte kan jou hare en jou klere vlek.
En ek dink 'n mens vergeet dikwels van iets soos 'n mens se kopvel ook. So dis wonderlik om te weet dat jy 'n shampoo ook daarvoor het. Goed, sal my mediese fonds daarvoor betaal? Moet ek 'n voorskrif hê? Ek dink dit is ook nogal sommige vrae wat mense mag hê.
Ja, dit is nogal 'n ingewikkelde een daai. As jy 'n mediese fonds spaarplan het wat genoeg geld daarin het,
Ja.
dan sal jou fonds daarvoor betaal as 'n dokter dit voorskryf, maar jy kan dit direk van die rak afkoop. Jy hoef nie 'n voorskrif te hê om dit aan te koop nie. So, party fondse sal betaal daarvoor, maar tot 'n tyd terwyl jy wag vir die dermatoloog se afspraak, kan jy solank met hierdie produkte dit direk oor die toonbank gaan koop.
Dit klink vir my goed. Dit klink ook vir my asof jy gewoonlik aan alles dink. Baie dankie dat jy vanoggend weer met ons hieroor kom gesels het.
Baie dankie.
Nou ja, alhoewel psoriase nie aansteeklik is nie, is dit belangrik om dit te verstaan en begrip daarvoor te hê. Nou hierdie produkte is beskikbaar by Dis-Chems en uitgesoekte apteke, Takealot en ook aanlyn by Creme Classic. Jy kan ingeskakel bly want ons is binnekort weer terug om voort te gaan met die res van Goeiemôre Good Morning en dan kyk ons nog onder meer na die ekonomie en hoe die markte in hierdie stadium lyk.